Hello to all the geek enthusiasts, nerd aficionados, and deadheads. Welcome back to another MaliceCast TV Talk, The Walking Dead. We enjoy you coming here, helping us survive this next hour as we talk about walkers and zombies and blood and gore and guts. Yeah. And what did they call it? The group of guys call it in Fear the Walking Dead a couple seasons ago? The Wrecked. Yeah, because they look like they're red.
I love how many different names they have for them throughout the entire universe.
The geeks.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about last night's episode of AMC's The Walking Dead. It was season 8, episode 13, Do Not Send Us Astray. I keep wanting to say Do Not Lead Us Astray, but yeah.
Oh, it's not lead?
No, it's send. Send.
Okay.
So the way it sounds to me, like if you don't see the writing on it, it's like, do not send us astray. We don't want any stray dogs or stray cats.
Right? Don't send us astray.
No stray zombies.
It's Bob Barker all over again. Going, remember to spay and neuter your pet.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't spayed or neutered, so.
No. And we have Beacon joining us in the chat and Jack Malice joining us in the chat as well. So welcome, guys. This podcast and all of our podcasts are brought to you by that wonderful little website that's written there in the bottom, malice-corp.com. It's where all the geeks and nerds from there get together to talk about all things nerd. And this is one of the casts where we talk about all things nerd, just all things dead in this case. But let's get into it. Let's talk about who's on the cast. You have me, myself, Mess5150, and we also have Mrs. Malice. Hello.
Hello.
Jack Malice. I don't welcome him, he welcomes me. And ICZorro is also joining us on the cast. How goes it?
Absolutely. I just watched the episode about an hour ago. I am fresh, caught up. I only got about half the way through Talking Dead, so I'm not going to be spouting quite so many references to another after show this particular episode.
Knock that off.
Really quick before we get into the episode, I have to give a plug to an amazing artist. I was at WonderCon this weekend, and these caught my attention, and these will be going up whenever we talk The Walking Dead in future casts. But a Mr. Brian Linz at facebook.com/cult classic posters has some fantastic posters. This is one of them.
Ooh.
Which, if you get the glare out of there.
Nice glare. It's doing great.
No,
that's cool though.
So it's Negan, and within the Negan backdrop is him standing over the Rick's group before he bashes some heads.
We can't see the bottom right now. Is that it's the inside the silhouette?
Yeah, so
nice.
I really wish I didn't have a glare here. Yeah.
So much glare.
It's just that it's in the thing. But that was the first one that caught my eye, to which went along with that, as I looked through the book, we had Daryl.
Oh my god. I need that one.
And it's the watchtower from the prison that's in the backdrop of him. And then
I'm sorry, real quick. The female reaction to oh my god, Daryl.
Well,
oh my god, I need that one.
This one I was afraid to get because I was afraid that a tear would come to my eye every single time seeing it.
Is it Glenn?
Oh, no, is it Carl?
No, it is Glenn.
Oh.
Maggie hugging Glenn in the silhouette.
Oh.
It is an amazing, amazing photo. So
why do you not have those up on your walls right
now?
They're
going up. I wanted to get them closer so that people could actually see them up. You know, they will be behind me on the next cast.
You need a Carl one. You
need to check him out. Cult Classic Posters. You can buy them online as well, and he has other characters on the website.
My ex-wife took all the art, so I have like 3 things on my walls. I need some of those.
Yeah, and that's the website, Cult Classic Posters. So I told them about our cast. They were very excited to hear from us, and I told them that we would definitely let them know about everybody where I got the posters at.
I need the Daryl one.
And because angle it top towards the camera.
And he also says coral.
Coral.
Let's see. If I angle it this way, is that what he's saying?
Yeah, still glare.
Yeah, it's still glare. It's the plastic screen. Oop.
Yeah.
So yeah, those will be in the behind me, but just go check out Cult Classic posters. They're on there. They're fantastic.
I'm literally going to do that after we finish this cast. I need more fan art.
It was $20 a poster, but they did 3 for $50. So
20? Because
yeah, so
most of the art
the
that I've ever bought for my house is like $300 per picture. That's ridiculously good.
Yeah, it's really, and he has some other stuff that, not to go off track too much, but he has a Stefan poster from SNL where it says this club has everything, and it literally has written into it every single thing that he said all the clubs have.
Sorry,
so
when
yeah, you gotta go check him out.
Reaction was what you would call that.
Yes.
No, that's Stefan.
That's what Stefan does. Yes. 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 Can we get him onto The Walking Dead?
Bill Hader? Yeah, I would love that.
Love to see some Bill Hader on The Walking Dead. Okay,
he's such a good walker.
Let's
only if he's doing that.
Let's get into the
yes, please.
What we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the episode of last night's episode. So there was it wasn't 3 major stories this time. It was kind of a sporadic mix of things going on amongst it. You had the Saviors attacking the hilltop, then you had the results of some bloody weapons, and then you had Henry being a dumbass. So
and if he only waited a few minutes longer,
yeah.
you wouldn't have had to do anything.
I started about that kid.
What did you guys think of the episode? Were we excited?
I loved it.
I loved it. I liked it. Got to see Maggie being Maggie. That's my girl.
Yes, Maggie showed her leadership skills.
And it wasn't even that she showed her leadership skills. It's that she was told she was a great leader and had to figure out how she felt about that while maintaining her actual leadership skills. It was really fun to watch. Like, she's conflicted about what the stuff she's doing, but she's being told, like, you're so good at this.
Yeah.
Being a great leader. And I think she just mentioned that she's doing a lot of sacrificing too at the same time.
Just unfortunately, she's not good enough to get paid, which we're still saying, pay the woman.
Pay the woman.
Still
haven't. Ugh. Yeah. So what was your guys' favorite scene of the episode?
Mrs. Malice, go for it.
I
know what mine was.
I can't think of a favorite scene actually, because I kind of
like the whole episode.
Yeah.
Well, then I will go with. I have 2. The first is right towards the beginning. The Saviors getting mowed down as they dumbly run through the choke point of the open gate. Like, come on, God. Oh, yeah, they opened the gate and they didn't quite close it. You should probably run in there, morons. And then the second one was just the creepy horror show of watching all those people go to sleep on the floor and knowing that some of them were infected, and that was going to be a bloodbath.
I want to know, in that scene, though, why the hell did they leave their front door open?
Choke points for dummies, says Jack Malice.
Why in a world of zombies would you leave the goddamn front door open?
Well, and here, okay, so let's start to talk about some of these stories first before I get into the issues I had with the episode. I thought it was a good episode, but there was some definite drawbacks in writing.
Sure.
First and foremost, we did have the attack on Hilltop. I'm not going to get into more. I know we opened up with Morgan, but I don't want to get into Morgan until a little bit later. But
and just in case anybody doesn't know, spoiler podcast.
Yes, this is a spoiler podcast. If you haven't read the comic books as well, there will be talk about some of the stuff that's going on in the comic books that ties in with how this is going on the show. But the Hilltop finally has the attack come with Simon leading the Saviors, which Simon,
God, he's a moron.
He couldn't get off. He couldn't keep calling himself Negan after doing the whole Negan speech last episode. He could only call himself Negan once and then switch back over to I'm Simon.
But my birth certificate says, God, he's a dumb guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Recon brings up that was a great line, and then just Maggie, the widow. That was by far the most heart-wrenching part of that episode, in my opinion, was when she said Maggie
Ree,
the widow, and just
and that was
using her full
multi-layered
name.
too.
Yeah,
that's multi-layered as well, because it's not only just I'm Maggie, I'm the leader of Hilltop, I'm Glenn's wife, but also I know that you guys call me the widow.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hey, I know what you call me.
Yeah,
come get some.
But yeah, her using Glenn's last name. I mean, they were married, and so just that was a very powerful. Just the feels went pretty.
All the
pretty
feels.
Big. Yeah,
all the feels.
The tears started.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about it.
But we did see the plan come into place. That they were expecting the saviors to come in. They opened the door, slid the bus in front, and then the saviors kept.
They did what Rick was supposed to do, which is sound the alarm. And weirdly, it started with Morgan, who didn't actually see them coming. He was fantasizing about dead what's his name.
Yeah.
And then he honked the horn. So
I do have a favorite scene, actually.
What is your favorite scene?
Them using Daryl as bait to go through the door, so they all follow him blindly, thinking,
That was such a badass move. Did you see he had a little mount for his machine gun on the motorcycle?
Yeah. So I did have a favorite scene. I just thought about that. It was Daryl. It was a Daryl.
Yeah. You just love yourself some Daryl.
Yes,
Beacon brings up later Maggie bringing up Glenn and just her disappointment that Negan wasn't even there because she wanted him dead so bad.
Yeah, and I think that plays into some of how much Maggie was fighting against herself in her head, because everybody's telling her she's a great leader, but at the same time she told Rick when they talked later that she was doing, they're like, well, you're not doing it for you were doing it for us, and it was like, well, I actually kind of because I wanted my vengeance.
She's very conflicted. She is leading this group of people in a fantastic way, and if you read the comics at all, she's, if not the best, then definitely one of the best leaders. But yeah, she's doing it out of selfish motivations. She wants the Saviors dead. She wants Negan dead because he beat Glenn's brains in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He knocked his eyeball out. So yeah.
Oh,
The famous line.
Too soon? Sorry, too soon?
Oh my God! Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I just didn't want to say it. It's gonna make me tear up.
And Beacon says exactly. She's a great leader, but the underlying reasons were selfish, and she kept mentioning the cost. Yeah, that's
that was literally the last line of the show.
The cost.
Yes, it was.
Because what is this? The cost. Yeah, all those graves. But she keeps asking, where is he? So we clearly know that Rick was supposed to be there. I'm assuming she's talking about Rick, right? Is that what she's when she first starts the assault?
Yes, she was asking about Rick. Like, where is he? He's supposed to be part of this. Where is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which he wasn't there.
And was anybody else surprised when he came charging in from out of nowhere, guns blazing?
No. I was more surprised that that he came out of nowhere with Morgan. Like, how did they set up timing exactly?
Here's my question. How far apart are these communities? Because he was car chasing with Negan through some place on the way to, I think, Hilltop. So it wasn't that far. Probably not that far away, but like roughly, let's estimate 10 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that would make sense why he didn't show up until nighttime, but it just happened to be when the Saviors were attacking. Even though he was attacking them 10 miles away when they were on the way there. I don't know.
It had to be some distance unless it was sunset, because didn't they, when they blew the horns, it was...
Are we assuming this has got to be the same day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still daylight, and then they blew the horns, and they pull up at night.
Well, no, actually, Simon says something specifically. He says, okay, we're here. It's dark. We're good. Like, he called it... He called it out that it was dark then. Yeah.
Beacon says that was bad writing because Rick just pops in. It takes a whole episode for Alexandria to travel to Hilltop, and it takes Rick 5 minutes. That's because it's Super Rick.
Well, it's because Rick was halfway there already, too. Because remember, the Saviors were heading to Hilltop with Negan.
He knows all the back roads, is what it is.
Exactly. He's been to Hilltop there and back
he's a
billion
also
times.
he's a marathoner.
It says it's Game of Thrones travel time.
It is definitely Game of Thrones travel time.
Called some zombie dragon to lift him to Hilltop.
And Jack Malice brings up a very good point in the chat that if you want to get the comic books of The Walking Dead to see the comparisons between TV show and comic books,
Which I have done and Mrs. Malice has done.
and I'm doing,
And
go to malice-corp.com. On any of the articles, at the bottom of the articles, there's Amazon links. You can click on that, go and order your anything that you want from Amazon, comic books being included, and have them sent to you. You get your stuff, and it helps us out as well. Also, if you want to help out our friends, Turbo Comics, that is a comic shop up in Idaho, and they have the premier comic shop. We had Max from Turbo Comics here on the cast last Friday.
I watched that one. He was great.
He was amazing. Yeah, he was awesome. Great. It was a great cast. But you can reach out to them, Turbo Comics. You can find them on Facebook and online, and tell them what you're looking for, and they will mail it to you. So,
in the chat, Beacon says Rick Grimes is the Jon Snow of Walking Dead as far as travel time.
Yes, I argue with that. You know nothing, Rick Grimes.
But the saviors get in. It looks like they're overtaking a little bit, and everybody goes dark. They shoot out all the lights, and then the saviors do the stupidest mistake that I've ever seen in my life. And that's,
I know, right? They were wandering out past that bus in a clump.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, really? There's
And they
people in there
not
with
only
guns.
pump, but they were making noise. They were whistling.
Simon was whistling. He's like,
And I'm wondering, watching that scene now, after how many times they've whistled, was that a requirement in the auditions? Like, whistle for me.
are there people that can't whistle?
There are.
Oh,
I can't whistle that well.
I guess they can't.
We're getting the mixture of Game of Thrones and Walking Dead in the chat room.
By the way, if you don't already follow us on Twitch, if you're seeing this on YouTube, join Twitch, watch us live, because the chat room is just as much a show as the actual show.
Well, they're saying, like we said, they said that Jon Snow, that Rick's the Jon Snow Walking Dead, and then asked, but if Jack asked if he's a Jon Snow who's Hodor, which you responded Carl, I guess.
Yeah.
Oral.
But he doesn't do what he's told. He's always wandering around.
What is it? The game of the Walking Dead Thrones.
Beacon says Janice would be the one to say, "You know nothing, Rick Grimes."
Oh,
she's the wildling.
My head when I thought about that.
Speaking of which,
nothing, Rick Grimes.
You nothing, Rick Grimes.
She's not Yoda. Speaking of which,
nothing
this is
known,
something.
Rick Grimes, is that what it would be then?
Nothing known, Rick Grimes. Yeah, that would actually work.
Nothing
Speaking of
known,
which, we kind of missed at the end of last episode because I had to pee so bad. So Mester was humoring me, and we kind of ended on a quick note.
Abruptly.
We didn't even talk about the fact that Jadis has Negan in her truck going somewhere. We don't know where.
Yes.
Yeah. Not over the rainbow, unfortunately.
I mean, do you guys have any type of thoughts of where they're going?
Yeah, if you have a theory, let us know.
I saw the preview, so I kind of know where they're going.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it showed that. The only preview I've seen is showing the how she got away from the killing in the
meat grinder field.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks like that when they show the preview that she takes him back to the Heapster hometown.
Okay, to show what happened. Like, here's the meat pie.
This is what you did. This hamburger over here.
You did that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they come in, they get, and then when did the Hilltop become stormtroopers? Or were the saviors like just?
I think everybody was stormtroopers at that point.
Were the
Everybody was on
multiplying, because it looked like 80% of them got away, but you kept seeing them get shot, and
entire fields of them were mowed down.
Yeah, but then it looked like there was twice as much that ran away. Go ahead, Malice.
They used the same timeline and the same magic powers that Rick used to get to the Hilltop so quickly, and that they just own each other. It just got bigger.
Yeah, I want to know how big the fighting force of the Saviors is supposed to be, because there was like 30 of them that got mowed down between the choke point gate when the hilltop people turned on the lights and killed all the morons in a cluster, but they still ran away with like 40 people.
Yeah, it looked like 40, 50 ran away, and I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense.
What doesn't make sense too is when the Saviors see the lights come on, shoot the lights out.
Yeah,
guns
or scatter, which they tried to do, but it wasn't. I mean, they should have been scattered in the first place. So
yeah, I did not understand that thing. They come from behind the school bus, and they're just in a clump. Like there's
there wasn't one person that's like, no, I'm staying behind the bus. Screw you guys.
even Dwight, who I believe is still very much on the Alexandrian side.
Yeah,
he was just wandering around with them, like, oh, this is cool. We're probably not gonna die right now.
Beacon says it was a really dark scene though too, and there were a lot of hilltop people that got hurt that didn't seem to get hurt. And that, yeah,
a lot of them a lot of them got grazed with bullets too. Because you remember they had soaked the bullets too, and the zombie.
Did they soak the bullets?
I thought it was mostly. Jack brings the facts. It was estimated that during the Vietnam War, that trained soldiers only hit their targets 20% of the time.
Yeah, but that was in a jungle environment that they weren't familiar with.
Yeah,
I
guess I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, and in the ensuing mass, we find out that the weapons somewhat work, or definitely work, when they're soaked in zombie guts.
Oh, they definitely
because I love the way the internet went about this. Was like, who is that character again? Like, who cares? Tobin guy.
Tobin,
splashed pretty badly.
I had totally forgot the fact that he was sleeping with Carol.
Yeah, he was.
Well, they got the second base. We don't know if they actually slept together.
Come on.
Yeah,
it's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, he got dumped either way by Carol. Yeah. So
hard. Yeah.
Which everybody says bring back Carol, which is spelled with an RYL at the end, because they want the Carol Daryl ship to happen.
I'm not entirely certain that Daryl is straight, but okay.
He's gonna end up with Aaron.
Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin
it. Sorry, off track.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat. Sorry. Jack's making a lot of valid points in the stat, and Beacon's also supporting that those stats apply also.
Oh yeah, for
like World War II.
Shooting in combat is not like shooting at a target. People are going to miss most of the time.
And Beacon says that Daryl only loves his crossbow and motorcycle. Sorry.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Those are his two lovers. But yeah, I mean, people miss a lot of the time in real combat. It's not like shooting at a target. No. There's adrenaline, stuff is going on. People are moving. So of course they're not hitting everybody all the time, but I was really upset that they were using full auto all the time. Like, most of the guns that would be available to them would have safety, single shot, or 3-round burst. There's not a lot of weapons out there that have full auto available. So the fact that they were just... First of all, you shouldn't do that in combat. You're wasting so much ammunition.
Not to mention, you're in a zombie apocalypse when you make much noise. I mean, they already honked a bunch of horns. So where were all the zombies at that should have shown up?
That was the one that was bothering me. I'm like, where's all the zombies that should be showing up?
They kind of did that later in the episode when there was a ton of walkers at the walls climbing.
The next morning.
The next morning.
But
you got to assume they've sort of cleared the immediate area in any settlement that they have. Probably give it like give it like a 5-mile radius of probably cleared of walkers. But yeah.
And if it's not, just send Morgan out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just there's so much noise that, and that was the other thing with the noise on the way there, honking the horns. The Saviors didn't hear the horns at all on the
sure. Well, and
horn that's supposed to be loud.
Beacon points out, like, they shouldn't have had people out there on full auto, they should have had snipers. Especially you're good at headshots at this point. Facing walkers for the last 4 years or so, you're real good at shooting people in the head.
Well, if they're
do that
moving
with humans
slowly,
as well.
If they're moving slowly, they're not running. So,
but I mean, still, you can at least clip some of them in the shoulder rather than spray and pray.
Yeah, and I mean, we learn where the loyalty is on everything, because Simon just threw the survivors that were there with Maggie and
the
saviors, just threw them under the bus, like it's their fault for getting caught, and they need to figure out a way to get released. Otherwise, they
should fix their ass.
Yeah. So, which gives us our opportunity finally to get the good savior that we've been talking about to join the group properly, which happens later in the episode. But
am I too trusting, or does everybody else actually want him to switch sides, like be okay with him?
Yeah.
No, I want him to be.
I want him. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that happens in the massive bloodshed that didn't really have the massive bloodshed in it was we get Simon going after Tara and Dwight following, and Daryl seeing, and then seeing Dwight shoot Tara with an arrow. And we already know how this is going to play out if you read the comic books.
If you read the comics at all. Yeah.
They've replaced Tara with Rick, because the same situation happens in the comic books.
Yes. So let's be clear. Dwight was not trying to kill Tara. Simon was going to kill Tara. Dwight shot her in the shoulder blade with a clean arrow just to make sure that Simon didn't kill her. Yeah. He was literally saving her life by shooting her.
And so Simon thinks that arrow is dirty. So that's the whole thing.
Yes.
And that's funny too, is they replaced Simon with Negan, because it's Negan that's with Dwight, who shoots Rick in the comic books.
Yes.
So
and that's what we think's going to happen. I mean, that's how it's playing out. I don't foresee him killing off Tara, especially if you want to sway Dwight to the side, because Tara's finally coming to the realization, hey, I was with the governor.
Yeah.
I came over. Maybe Dwight, and I've seen what he did, and he's not as bad. And now Daryl's back on the switch around. I'm getting annoyed with this. I don't know if you guys are getting frustrated with this, but I'm getting frustrated with is Dwight good? Is Dwight bad? Is Dwight good? That they keep throwing in.
No, I have never believed that Dwight is bad.
I don't either, but the writing is frustrating me on the fact that like trying to push it on the audience.
No, but I get it. I mean, I get why they're doing that. Daryl definitely has a reason to hate Dwight. So does Tara. But the fact that Tara's like, look, not only was I in a similar situation, but this dude has literally saved my life a couple of times.
Yep.
He had a chance to turn around and say, oh, hey, guys, I'm here. By the way, there's one of them in the bushes right there. And he didn't do that.
Nope.
He is 100% on the let's kill Negan side, regardless of whatever group he's in. He just wants Negan dead.
Because he has a good reason to want Negan dead.
And I agree with that, Jack Malice. He said they had a choke point. A Claymore is the best solution. If they had Claymores, I would agree with that 100%. Even some Molotov cocktails, man, into that group would have been.
Right.
So, and Beacon says they stated that they wanted to end it and expected Negan to be there, and the goal was to kill Negan and end it all. Which Rick screwed up, but yeah.
You know nothing, Rick Grimes.
Yes.
It's totally going to be a new thing now.
Yeah, and so that was frustrating me with the whole Dwight thing. I'm sick of that storyline. They need to push past it and get to other stuff. Now it's getting to the drag out portions of the episodes, in my opinion. We also get some fantastic stuff during all this setup and turmoil with Sadiq, which
oh my god, I thought Rick was gonna kill him.
Well, I
was like, no.
The talking to the lady at the beginning where she was just like, what do you know? Like, are you really gonna expect to see trained like combat surgeons in this world at this point and stuff? Like, if you can get
that was hilarious.
That can help with anything, you take what you can get.
And I loved his response to it. He goes, you know what? I've been doing new stuff since I've been a doctor every day. So why don't you tell me what to do other than where to put the blankets?
And then she's like, I like you.
he showed some attitude, and she was like, yep, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Dr.
And Jack
Dana.
says, okay, no Claymore. Say it with me. Pipe bomb. Pipe bomb.
But would they be terrorists then?
But yeah, no, I agree. Explosives should have been somewhat made, some type of explosive, for knowing that they're. I guess they don't want to blow up their.
Yeah, but no. What Jack said, like pipe bombs, claymores, like that. You can have stuff. You can have stuff with projectile, like shrapnel, that would have taken out most of that group. And I mean, look, they set up the tire traps, right? They set up some tire strips. Yeah. They couldn't find something that was like blow up people coming through the gate. I guess they had to get Daryl through first, but.
And they wouldn't have to set them up inside of Hilltop. They could have set them up outside the road of Hilltop.
Well, that's what they said made that's the one thing that they said on the plan that was really good showing assertion was by having them come in through the gates, they were saving their gates from getting
rammed.
Oh yeah, from getting destroyed for sure.
So I guess you don't want to throw explosives near the gates as well.
Let's be clear.
I mean, it's a long road up to the Hilltop.
And let's be clear, they had a good strategic plan. They had multiple stages of it. Daryl shooting a ton of them coming in from the outside, leading them through the gate in a choke point where they could kill a lot of them, shooting out their lights so they couldn't see, and then turning on lights, blinding them and shooting them all from the house. Like they had multiple good strategic points where they were going to kill a ton of the saviors. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Brecon mentions that he liked Sadiq's response as well. As it was the first time he really, really asserted himself.
Yeah.
So, he put her in her place, and he still needs to have another doctor reveal themselves so he doesn't die, because we've already talked about.
Oh yeah, no, we lose doctors. If there's a doctor, if you're the moral center, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So we get into the next stage of the episode, and that is that the weapons with zombie guts work.
And unfortunately,
they said people have been wanting zombies. Here's zombies. So they gave you a ton of people turning and biting each other, and blood and gore and death, which I'm assuming was when Mrs. Malice was like, heck yeah.
Well, and you gotta think too, they did already lose a doctor because that one zombie did eat the female doctor.
Yeah, was she a doctor? That's what I was trying to figure out, because when I saw her, I figured she was kind of a doctor, so I was like, okay,
Dana was whoever their most professional medical person was at the time.
So they showed her so that they could kill her and keep Sadiq alive. Is basically what
pretty much.
Sadiq was alive by hiding in a corner tending to Tobin.
So what did you guys think about the weapons working and that whole scene with the zombies?
Very sad about it. I didn't like it in the comic books. I didn't like it in the show. Well, I liked it because it was a good idea, but I didn't like it because it made me sad. So,
okay.
No, it's a brilliant piece of biological warfare. Like, I'm surprised nobody figured it out up to that point.
Yeah.
But it sucks that it gets used against the group that we identify with. I wonder how many of them really died. Like, we don't know the population of Hilltop. We don't know how many fighters there actually were. We don't know how many died. So we don't know how big a bite that took out of them, pun intended.
Remember, right? It's not just Hilltop that's there. It's the Kingdom and Alexandria that are now there too.
Yes.
All three groups.
And brings up a great. Hilltop. I love Beacon's comment in the chat room. On a positive note, population control. So now there are more rations to go around. Well, they were getting lower.
They were worried about how much food they were going to have for everybody. So
they only have one prisoner now too, so they're good there too. They don't have to worry about feeding the prisoners. Or Gregory.
Is he even a prisoner at this point?
No, he's not a prisoner.
No, he's not a prisoner. We don't have Gregory anymore either, because Gregory took off with the Saviors.
Gregory, before, yes, we're going to get into that. I wanted, like, the one thing that would have made me like that kid is if he had shot Gregory.
Yeah, me too. I was hoping for it. I was going, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him.
Yeah, it's always a hope. That zombie scene was the first scene that had me a little bit wonky about the episode in terms of writing, because how light do people freaking sleep in a zombie apocalypse?
Right? There's a dude falling down the stairs. You didn't wake up.
How did that, they leave the front door open. Like, oh my God.
And how loud do people have to be snoring to not start hearing the zombie snarls to think that's somebody just snoring? I mean,
like at this point, we're what, 3-4 years in the zombie apocalypse? You know those sounds even in your sleep, especially if you're alive at this point. You know those sounds.
Yes.
You hear somebody going, wake up.
Are you snoring or are you turning? Wake up.
and the one point that was brought up in one of the articles was like, nobody screams, nobody gets bit and yells and screams, even when they're not getting their jugular bit.
Right. And no, I mean, we did see that a little bit later when we were out in the penned saviors area. We hear screams from the house, but it's like, come on, that should have been happening way earlier.
Well, Jack brings up, why do you not sleep in the attics, alone in an attic? And that's the thing, is you had everybody on the floor combined together, because this was hey, we need to kill a bunch of extras so that we can have this scene, because Tara's by herself for the most part.
Sleep in a place that zombies can't get to. They don't climb.
Well, this is where it goes against showing how great of a leader Maggie is in this episode, because then you don't put any guards or posts or anything after this big fight. You don't have anybody watching anything.
No, that's not true. They still had guards on the walls. They had guards, and then the walls are closed, the gates closed, so they have people watching the community overall. They didn't think they needed to watch people sleeping in the house because they didn't know that the saviors had coated weapons in zombie gore. But the problem is that, as we saw in the episode, most of the people that were guarding the walls were wounded with zombie gore weapons.
So they were turning into zombies.
Well, this is the actor that played Tobin came to the aid of the actual writers. And he said, I think what we have to accept about the convention of the show, we're all infected anyway, but that infection can accelerate if we are really bitten or whatever, in a way that really gets that into our system. So a deep cut versus a scratch is going to make a difference about how infected we get, because they're talking about how Rick got cut with... well,
that's pretty much the speech that Negan gave 2 episodes ago.
So does that explain Gabriel, too? Because he seemed like he was infected. Did he only get scratched?
Well, he may have only gotten into his eyes, and maybe that's why he's going blind.
He covered himself in zombie gore. Yeah. So, it may have gotten into one of his orifices.
That's true.
Orifices. Yeah.
Yeah, so he said, I think we have to accept that this is where we are, and frankly, just the aggressive way that the Saber's using the Walker's blood to really get it in and affect people. They get at a certain point, you have to justify that by kind of making that connection on screen, so it actually plays out that way. I mean, until then, it's just conjecture. So much of what we do as fans of this genre is, how could this happen? How could these things lead to those things? I just think it's enough they've dipped bullets, certainly knives, and fresh Walker's blood, and they're sort of immediately coming and using them on whoever they can find. It's more than just getting Walker blood on them. So, he's just saying that. So,
well, like Jack says in the chat, anyone that's injured needs to be watched, just in case. And this isn't something that, this is sort of new, because they haven't run up against somebody that's using bio-warfare at this point. But you would think over the course of 3-4 years they've been in the zombie apocalypse, they would have seen somebody hacked by a hatchet or a machete that had previously hacked a zombie. So how is this new? I don't understand why this is a new development.
Yeah. And that's Jack saying, is that anyone injured needs to be watched. So.
They didn't bring it on later on into the comic books either, too, with the whole what?
Yeah, no. It was basically the same speech in the comics book or comic books.
Yeah.
But the whole cutting someone up with a zombie knife and then hitting someone that isn't infected, it didn't come up until now in the comic books too. So yeah.
So, then we get the terrible part of this. Where then I go off the deep end, because
the kid
Henry,
he's now gone.
the bloodlust of Henry. I mean, he wanted a gun at the beginning. He steals a gun later. He goes out to the saviors that are in the pen and pokes who's the guy that we want dead.
The long-haired dude. I don't know his name.
Long-haired dude.
The old hilltop leader.
Gregory.
He pokes Gregory.
Yeah.
Oh, Gregory.
You know,
but also the long-haired savior guy.
And starts threatening that he's gonna kill them unless they tell him who killed his brother. Why he doesn't believe, he just doesn't believe Morgan. What gives him, he trusts Morgan with everything else and training and stuff like that, and all of a sudden he's just like, no, I'm not going to believe you when you tell me that you already took care of the guy that killed my brother.
Yep.
Like this there was some plot holes in the episode this week, but it was still a good episode.
Smart kid.
What was that?
He's a stupid smart kid. He's stupid.
No, he's a stupid, creepy kid.
Yeah.
We all know my feelings about this kid.
And he's stupid. Yes, he's a stupid kid, because if he's gonna shoot people, he's smart enough to know that he can shoot through that freaking gate.
Why open the gate? You are literally already poking the gun through the fence. Shoot them from there, you moron.
Yeah.
Stupid. Yeah. Stupid.
Which leads to him opening the gate.
What's he going to physically intimidate them with his presence?
Carl would have never done that.
No, well, to be fair,
shot through the fence.
Carl would have killed them all before talking to anybody about it.
Yeah. He would have shot first, said, "Who killed my brother?" And then no one answered. He would have shot again.
Yeah.
Through the fence.
So Henry,
literally, as he was unlocking that padlock, I was like, "You deserve to die right now. Please die."
He is missing, so that's
missing.
good news.
He's missing, and hopefully there's a lot of flowers in the woods where he's chasing the saviors. So, because
just look at the flowers, Henry. Just look at the flowers.
Yeah, he's missing. He gives a gun up to the long-haired douchey guy, anyways, and the saviors bolt. So no longer do we have 38 bodies that we can kill one by one and hold over Negan's head.
Yeah.
Simon
so here's the question: do you think that Negan would have bargained differently than Simon?
Yes.
Because I feel like Negan definitely considers his people an asset, a resource.
Yes, he considers people resources. Period.
Yeah, but Simon was like, "Screw it, they screwed up, kill them."
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, he would have bartered completely differently.
Okay, first of all, we know Negan's not dead.
No.
We know he knows that Simon slaughtered everybody at the Heapster's place. Now Simon has gone and attacked the hilltop without Negan. He has basically said, "I don't care about your prisoners. Kill them if you want, whatever." How bad is Simon gonna die?
Because Henry helped with the population control.
Iron to both sides of his face. He's probably gonna get hit with Lucille.
So much iron.
The irony.
And Brecon's bringing up a point that I think they've been establishing too. I think Negan's going to change in some way after seeing what Simon did at the Heap Yard and what Simon did at Hilltop.
I'd have to agree with that.
And Mrs. Malice, you and I have read through this entire storyline in the comics. Mast, I believe you're catching up. Mm-hmm. But the way that this storyline ends in the comics is with Negan kind of being reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what's going to happen in the show, but we can see tinges of it in the show. Like he's when Rick told him, "Oh, really? We're going to trust you after what you did to the Heapsters?" They were all slaughtered, and you could see the look on Negan's face, like, "God damn it!"
Yep.
Like, I think he's going to be mostly reasonable towards the end of the storyline.
Yeah, Carl getting in, Carl dying. You can see it there too.
I think it's more so the factor of the amount of people that are being lost amongst the trash people getting killed and the number of saviors that were shot. We still saw the number leave, but the amount that got killed there and the amount that's getting killed in Hilltop. And once again, like you said, he looks at people as resources, and if you have no resources anymore, you got to figure out some way to rebuild on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what Jack says in the comments is, if Negan gets back, I think seeing what's happened, I can kind of see Rick and Negan coming together to hunt Simon. And Beacon says, well, to quote the Grinch, Negan's heart is going to grow 3 sizes that day.
Yeah.
I do like Negan. He's like their best bad guy. Good guy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Describe him
As Jack has said over and over throughout these podcasts, he's a beneficial tyrant. He literally wants the best for everybody as a whole. It's just his methods are, detestable to us.
Not good. They're not good.
Yeah, the way he looks at it. Yeah, it's a good point to bring up is how would things go differently with Negan if he would have came up to the wall? I mean, what do you think, Mrs. Malice? How do you think he would have approached it? Would he just sat there talking?
He would have walked up to the wall, banged it with a seal. Let me in, little pigs,
Well, yeah, he probably would have gotten less people killed because I don't think he would have rushed in like Simon did. That's for damn sure.
Well, Negan's never really rushed in.
No,
he's always stood at the gate to show them let them have their boundary and be like, hey, if you don't let me in, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna come in. I'm giving you a chance to open the door. Simon's like, nope, I'm going right in.
Jack would like me to correct what I said. I said beneficial tyrant. I meant benevolent.
Yeah.
But no, you're entirely right. Like Negan, everything he does is with forethought and calculation. And Simon is not that guy. We've seen Simon rebelling against Negan's plans for things because he thinks it's just not visceral enough. Like, he killed all the heapsters because, damn it, they deserved it. But Negan was like, no, these are people we can use later. Kill one, make an example.
Exactly.
Get him in line.
And so with Simon currently claiming the title of Negan, until Negan gets back, it's worse than it was with Negan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Simon is the straight up.
He might as well be from Terminus or any of the other terrible groups that they've run across before.
Oh, Terminus
is
really bad.
He's a full on kill everybody, fight everybody. If you don't agree with me, I'm gonna, stick a knife in your belly. Kind of.
He's from Cuba.
I didn't say
Havana or no.
Terminus was really bad. So the Saviors are not as bad as Terminus because Terminus was eating people. I think that's
they were hungry.
Yeah.
Well, so was the other groups.
It's kind of funny because the dude that was the ringleader at Terminus was on one of the Talking Dead shows. I think it was for Fear, and they kept on asking him questions like, how would this guy respond to the Fear the Walking Dead cast? He's like, well, I'd eat that guy. Leave that one for later.
That's funny. Yeah, and then we have this is what I wanted to get into. Morgan's nutso clear.
Is somebody losing his mind?
Well, it's coming back. We knew it.
Somebody on Twitter called it Morgan Clear 2, the clearing.
Morgan's had a lot of clearing happening throughout the show.
He's going nuts.
Part 5.
He's seeing the one good lieutenant that we were assuming somewhat was a good lieutenant.
Oh yeah, what was his name again?
I don't remember.
The dead guy.
It was like
Stabby Stapperson is what I'm calling him.
Stab through the throat or son.
Yeah, because he's got the big hole in his throat when he sees him, and he keeps telling him.
He keeps saying, "You know what it is." What does that mean?
That's what I wanted to ask you guys. What do you think? Because I have an idea.
I literally have no idea.
Probably, I don't know. I actually don't know.
So I think he started out with it. It should have been or something like that, because I think that was him basically saying that it should have been Morgan that killed him, not
right.
Henry,
yeah, at the very beginning of the show, like that was the first thing we saw of the show was Morgan seeing him with the stab wound. That's when Morgan went to honk the horn with no clear provocation. But I still, that was the only time he said anything other than "you know what it is," and I don't get it.
I think it's the setup for the crossover. Is
probably
what I think it is.
Because I kept waiting for him to put a cigarette to his throat hole and smoke out of it.
Oh my god!
That would have been hilarious. I would have so much more respect for this show right now if that had happened.
Yeah. But I think that's what it. I think it's the setup because we all know Morgan's going to Fear the Walking Dead. We're 3 weeks away from the season finale and the season premiere of Fear the Walking Dead.
Which have we decided? Are we going to be covering that one as well? Because I'd like to.
If
I'm caught up.
like to, if Mrs. Malice would like to, I
have to watch it. So
let us know in the comments, the Twitch comments, the YouTube comments, on the website if you need, wherever, if you would like us to also cover Fear the Walking Dead.
I watch it.
Oh, you
should watch it. It's
season 3 is so good.
First season, you're like, this won't be as good.
Yeah,
and season 2 starts getting a little bit better, and then I haven't gotten season 3 yet.
Amazing.
Every TV show's like
season 3 is rad.
So, but yeah, so I think that's what it is he's saying basically it's time for you to leave. It's you. That's what I think he's telling.
Yeah, I could see that.
See, I still have an issue with the timelines because Fear the Walking Dead is the very beginning of the zombie outbreak.
I know.
And Walking Dead is like 3-4 years later.
Gonna get fixed somehow.
Yeah. So there's either got to be a time jump in Fear the Walking Dead, or Morgan has to have somehow made it to the West Coast in the middle of before he came back.
You gotta remember Morgan was missing because The Walking Dead did start out at the beginning of the apocalypse too. Remember, Morgan was missing for a very large part of that time. So maybe him leaving is what meets up with the Fear of the Walking Dead.
But then his son would be part of it. We've seen the trailer, and his son's not in the trailer, and and he's got his staff, and he's really good with the staff in the trailer for it. I watched the Fear the Walking Dead panel. That's going to be posting up later on the YouTube channel. It'll come over here on Twitch as well, but youtube.com/c/Malice Corp. All of our WonderCon stuff has been popping up over there. So definitely check it out and come back.
Thank you, by the way, for that.
Yeah. But the trailer for it, Morgan's, they asked Lenny James about the whole transition between the two shows, and he literally had about 3 days off because he had to start filming the second show immediately after filming Walking Dead. He just transitioned straight over. So he jumps on it immediately. And that's they actually asked that. They asked that. Beacon's asking, are they going to time jump Fear? They asked that.
That's my opinion.
Watch the panel when it comes up, but in the panel they asked about the time jump, and Scott Gimble, as we like to call him, was like, time jump. What time jump?
What time jump?
What time jump? He's like, we play with time, but he's like, there will be a playing with time. So.
As coy as he is, and the little dry British humor answers he gives, even though he's not British, if he said, "What's a time jump?" that makes me believe that there's going to be one.
Yeah, there's got to be something somewhere, some way or another. There has to be something. So,
Beacon asks, so Fear the Walking Dead takes place at the same time, just a little prior to Rick waking up, but it's on the West Coast. Exactly. Fear the Walking Dead takes place at the very, very start of the zombie apocalypse, but in Los Angeles. And through 3 seasons so far, there has not been anywhere near as much time has passed as in the actual Walking Dead universe, or the main show. They're less than a year in.
Well, maybe the way they'll try and explain some of the time difference, maybe they'll say that towards the east and other parts of the world, it was happening a little bit first.
No, there's no way. Come on, if a zombie outbreak happens on any coast, the other coast is going to know soon.
We already know with The Walking Dead that if they want something to go a certain way, the writing will.
They're just going to get rid of global communications and the entire outbreak happens at roughly the same time. It's just that the Fear the Walking Dead show has taken place at a much slower pace and on the opposite coast. So as far as the Fear the Walking Dead show goes, it's been maybe a year or so since the zombie outbreak happened. As far as the main The Walking Dead show has happened, I'm estimating 4 or 5 years.
Well, yeah, because you're 10 years in on the.
Well, and
the
just
seasons,
Carl's rate of
so-
growth.
Yeah, which is maybe why they killed Carl, because they're like, we need to slow down this time so we can merge these shows.
Well, like Beacon says, so if they're going to do a time jump, Fear will have to jump roughly 3 years or so.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll find out what's going to happen in 3 weeks on April 14th. That's when the date 15th, April 15th. That's when.
If it's the 15th, I'm going to be here for that one.
Oh, will you? Okay.
Yeah, by the way, I'm going to miss a cast or so towards the, like right around the finale. I'm going to be in Europe. But that does not mean this cast is not happening. These two are so good, and we'll probably have Beacon as a guest star.
Maybe.
Oh, they're springing it on him in the cast.
Yeah. Hey, Beacon.
Well, now we can't refuse.
Yeah, we'll
This is live.
and our viewers will go up 300-fold. Yeah, so we know there's going to be something going on. We'll get more into detail with it and everything. That is rounding out an hour for us. So we appreciate you guys coming here to talk Dead with us. Didn't have as much things to really go into on the episode this week because it was very straightforward with what was going on. There wasn't a lot of like, what's going on with this and what's going on with that. But I think as we get further and further into this, we'll have that happening. I mean, next week we know we're getting some flashbacks of Jadis in the trash pile of how she survived Simon and the killing spree that was going on there, and hopefully finding out what she's doing with Negan we'll get as well.
You do a lot with Negan.
Calm down.
She's gonna paint his picture.
Yeah.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Yeah, Lord. So we appreciate you guys joining us here. Share us with everybody. Please come back. Talk Dead with us every Monday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do this every single Monday after the newest episode of The Walking Dead. So please join us on the chat and go and hit that follow button. Or if you have Amazon Prime, that means you also have Twitch Prime, which means every 30 days you get a free subscription to help out small creators and small streamers. We are small streamers, so we would love for you to give us some of that 30-day love. So
it helps us keep these casts going.
Yes,
because they're not free
or try and get them better.
Yeah,
and for your entertainment.
Yeah. But let's talk about where we can follow some people. So, Mr. Zorro, where can we follow you?
I am at ICZorro on both Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm going to be traveling to France very soon, as I just mentioned earlier. So there's going to be a lot of pictures and videos of gorgeous vineyard scenery.
Okay, nice. We're just going to say he's getting eaten by walkers, and that's why he's gone.
Yeah, no, it's European walkers.
Bring me back some cheese.
I hope you're not a peeing while walking.
If I wanted to get you good cheese, I'd go to Wisconsin.
No.
Okay, Mrs. Malice will eventually get some way to follow her and talk Walking Dead to her other times. Until that time, you can follow the main Malice Corp on Twitter at Malice Corp. Or you can follow Mr. Malice on Twitter at Jack_Malice. He's also our producer. Thank you so much for producing this and helping us look better.
And the chat contributions.
Yes, absolutely. And then you can follow everything we do in all things nerd with the cast at MaliceCast on Twitter. You can also follow the main Instagram at Malice_Corp. Me myself, you can follow me on Twitter at Mest_Malice Corp and on Instagram at Mest5150. We appreciate you guys coming out here. Make sure to stay tuned. We are hitting a 1-year milestone for MaliceCast this week. So Thursday, Friday time, we've been doing this for a year, And if you haven't caught any of our previous MaliceCasts and like to know what we do, we will have a marathon running of the last year of MaliceCast so far.
Just a ton of nerds talking nerd all the time for like a day and a half.
I think the next episode of The Walking Dead, I'm going to have to sport my Malice Corp shirt.
Nice. So, don't follow me. Follow what? A marathon? Yes.
I'm pretty sure he said don't follow me. Because hey,
at least we're not talking dirty.
Jack Malice loves being sent a ton of messages about whatever his wife has said on this show. Just so you know.
Yeah.
How about you
anyway?
Everyone should go to him and tell him that I should have a Twitter account.
Intermixed amongst the marathon, we will have Supernatural back this Thursday, 8:30 p.m.
Yes, and an announcement
to talk Scooby Natural, and then an announcement will follow with that. So thank you so much for coming and joining us and talking Dead with us. Thank you for surviving, and come back next Monday to talk Dead about
next time. Gadget. Next time.
We'll see you guys soon. Keep nerding on.